Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, extremely honored to be here in front of all of you. Like several of us, I believe that our careers and the trajectory of our careers is very often determined by the first few years of our work life. For me, I had the great privilege of working with some big stalwarts. So, Mr. Shiv Kumar is right here in front of me. Mr. R.M. Vakil, with whom I started. Mr. N.P. Srivastava, for a short period of time, I got a glimpse of his immense capabilities. And I'd like to start by giving all of them a very big hand. I joined Alstom 2 years ago. It was I always believed, I like the earlier presentation where it was stated that to be safe is risky. And I was beginning to feel very safe in the structures. I thought I needed to stretch myself. I needed to jump the Rubicon. And I did that. First meeting with the Asia Pacific team, I was invited to attend the first meeting. I joined, by the way, on 10th of July 2013. So it's now about 2 years and a few months. And I was amazed at the way the meeting was being conducted. There were 15 of us around the table. I was waiting for the big chief to come and sit on the head of the table, till I discovered that he is actually not even sitting on the chair, he is just by my side. And I started to get a different feel of the way the private sector works and the modern organizations work. And I got the feeling that perhaps in the new generation, in the new organizations, there is a distinct shift away from command and control structures to cultivation and collaboration, from mono-minded systems to multi-minded systems. Because the world is so complex today. Not the CEO is the last man who has all the great ideas and the brilliance to actually deliver projects or to win projects. And it requires a solid collective effort from all of us, from everybody around. And that experience gelled very well with me because I had got groomed in a similar environment in my earlier years where I could challenge my boss. Of course, I could be fired back if I did that. And it was fine to be fired back. But at least my bosses listened to what I had to say. And that helped me to move forward. Is it working or not? Yeah. So I joined, as I said, 2 years ago. 5 years before that, Alstom had not won a single contract in India. I joined a company with about 350 people. It was a company where we had a factory at 3 cities. And we had just one contract. It was a contract for providing metro cards at Chennai. And we were all wondering, it's time to now close down this factory because there were no projects for the last 5 years. So 350 families to feed, just one project for the last 5 years, and having lost so many projects that the French team was actually considering that we need to do something drastic, we need to downsize. And then in the last 2 years, from a top line of about 100 crores year on year, a sales of about 300, because projects have long gestation period. So from there, we are today sitting at a backlog of almost like 30,000 crores. So it's a vertical takeoff, literally. From 350 people, we are today at 1,600 top-notch engineers across the world who are working here with us, predominantly Indian talent, Indian capabilities. In the last 2 years, we have bid in 11 contracts and we have won 9 of them. And this is after having lost, I don't know how many before that. So there is success. But it's very difficult if all of us sit back and think why success happens. Why failure happens is easy to understand. We can analyze. There are several case studies which you can detail out and see why failure happens. But why success happens is a very complex task to analyze. And I'm certain about it. It is definitely not because I landed there 2 years ago. Because it's a superhuman, from 100 to 30,000. It doesn't happen through a magic wand. A lot of things have gone into place. Maybe the constellation was in a certain typical format that we started to win and grow. But there are few things which we practice internally, and I thought I'll just share them with you. And see, maybe it works in the railway context as well. The first one is that we've completely de-layered the organization. So we have no hierarchy at all. My juniors have as much a right to challenge me, sometimes to fire me as well, that you're talking nonsense, and I encourage that. So we have a completely flat organization. The same team that could not deliver even 2 tenders in a year ended up delivering 7 in a month. And all of that has actually, from the same team, it's effectively the same team, but at different outcomes. So we de-layered it. We set up meetings where we said that there must be some opposition to an idea. We cannot have a situation where everyone agrees round the table. So in any meeting, it's important, that works very well for us here in Alstom, is to make sure that there is someone who proposes an idea, that there is someone who seconds it, but there has to be a third one who opposes that idea. Because it is in the opposition and it is in this churn of ideas and interplay of thoughts that innovation starts to come out. And process and innovation is just not about products. Innovation is about process. Innovation is about how to cut down your costs. Innovation is how to deliver projects in time. Next month, we will see the first train, Make in India train, designed, developed by Indian engineers, manufactured by Indian engineers, being delivered for Kochi. And it's going to be a world record of sorts, because never have trains been produced and, from conception, from start to end, the entire process being done in about 14 months flat. It might end up into Guinness Book of World Record. It's again a solid team effort across the board, where everybody, even as we are talking today, it's a Saturday, Sunday, teams are working 24/7, because strong self-belief, strong wish to prove that we can do it. That the world is watching us. The entire French fraternity is actually watching Indians. Maybe they want us to. They don't want us to succeed, because they want to prove a point. We guys are not in a position to do it. But here are we are delivering times exactly on the same date on which it was projected a year and a half ago. And of course, the Kerala government wants it, so we're going to deliver the fastest possible trains in the shortest possible time at the lowest possible cost. Tomorrow, on Monday, we'll be signing one of the largest contracts ever. India was an outpost as far as Alstom was concerned 2 years ago. Today, Alstom is absolutely set the stage. We're going to sign a 23.2 billion euro contract on Monday. Again, credit to all my colleagues sitting on the other side. It is a fantastic effort on both sides. First from Indian Railways, to conceptualize what I would consider a near-perfect document. The PCMA, the Procurement Cum Maintenance Agreement, is something that every IRS must read, because it's such a well-written document. The contract, just 2 minutes I'll take, because I think we're short of time. We are required to produce 800 locomotives of 12,000 horsepower each from Madhepura. The bidding criteria was one single price of a locomotive. The contract duration goes up to 2035. So starting from the first locomotive, everything, the price of the 800th locomotive is linked to the number that we quote in the bid. The maintenance cost for the 500th locomotive is also linked to this number. The complexity of it all, but the simplicity of it all. So it looks like a simple tender, but an extremely complex tender, because you are required to look at your hedging factors. How are you going to hedge up to 2035, 2036? How are we going to do the contract price adjustment? So it is a very complex task. But it's an excellent procurement document, which seems to have evolved over a long period of time through consultation with various seniors sitting across on the other side today. It was a fantastic effort, and I think the price that we are going to get these locomotives at is very, very competitive. So I'm looking forward to a new era opening up in Indian Railways, where we are shifting away from buying the nuts separately and the bolts separately and the and the auxiliary converter separately and the traction converter separately, to a system where we are buying an entire end solution in which the responsibility and the risks of maintenance are also transferred to the contractors. And I think that transition is beginning to happen. All of us today sitting across have to gear up for that. We have to gear up for being very clear about how does the bidding happen on the other side, on my side, for example. How does it happen? What are the pain points? How can we move forward? How can we cut down on the costs? Because we are all spending public monies, including me. We are all in the business of spending public monies. We need to find ways to innovate and to cut down on the costs. And so with just these thoughts, I'll leave you. And thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you very much.